Why are you here? My mom muttered, eyes fixed on the cutting board as she sliced onions. My dad gave a short laugh. Didn't we tell you this year was for family only? I didn't argue. I just set the gift bag on the counter, turned around, and walked out without saying a word. Half an hour later, my phone exploded with alerts. Holiday catering, cancelled. Vacation payment, blocked. Family Netflix, logged out. Then a text from my sister, "Are you serious right now?" What stung wasn't the words, it was the way they said them. Like I was a stranger who wandered into the wrong house. Like I didn't belong. And the thing was, I had planned this for weeks. Staying up late after work, searching resorts, comparing island packages, double-checking head counts with my aunt who swore everyone would be there for the anniversary. She wasn't lying either. The driveway was full, 6 cars, all familiar. Cousins, second cousins, even Uncle Terror's beat-up van was parked in the corner. They were all inside. But when I walked through the door, the only welcome I got was a knife hitting a cutting board and my mom's voice asking why I'd come. Not even a glance. Not even a pause. Just dismissal. And then my dad, calm as if it was a Sunday crossword, added, "Didn't we tell you? This year's for family only." That was it. No smirk, no sarcasm, nothing. Just flat. As if the word family didn't apply to me anymore. The bag in my hand felt suddenly heavy. Silver, with dark blue tissue paper peeking out. Inside, something I'd spent months perfecting. A photo album full of memories. A handwritten letter. And tucked at the very bottom, 2 plane tickets to Hawaii. 5 nights. Private suite. Ocean view. Spa. The kind of trip they'd always dreamed about. I gave them there someday. And they didn't even let me open my mouth. So I didn't explain. I didn't ask. I placed the bag gently on the table, like it was made of glass, and walked out without looking back. My uncle noticed me leaving, half rose from the couch, but I didn't stop. Nobody did. I drove 2 blocks before pulling over. I wasn't crying. I wasn't even angry. I was just done. Done trying. Done pretending this was normal. By the time I hit the freeway ramp, my phone was buzzing non-stop. Catering, cancelled. Vacation, frozen. Netflix, signed out. And then the cherry on top, my sister's text, "Are you seriously doing this?" I stared at it, thinking about the $1,700 loan I just co-signed for her phone. The deposit I'd wired so her car wouldn't get repossessed. The nights she called me crying, swearing I was the only one who helped her. And now, this? My reply was short, seriously doesn't even begin to cover it. They didn't even know about the Hawaii trip. No one did, except my uncle who helped me book it. I'd planned to reveal it during dinner, after the toast, with a video of palm trees and waves queued up on their TV. That was supposed to be the moment. But plans change. They wanted me to feel like I was nothing more than backup power, only useful when everything else failed. Fine. I'd flip the switch and let them see what real darkness looked like. I could already picture the scene I'd never attend, my cousin Jenny opening the bag, pulling out the album, skimming the letter, pausing at the envelope. Someone joking, mystery gift. Then the silence when the tickets slid out. Uncle Mark, already on his 3rd glass of wine, blurting something like, "She got you guys a whole trip to Hawaii just like that." And my parents? My mom freezing mid-blink. My dad leaning forward, realizing what they'd thrown away. The regret. The scramble. The whispers. But I didn't need to see it. I'd lived through versions of it my whole life. Instead, I was home, sitting in real quiet. The kind you only get when you shut everyone out. 1 plate of food. 1 drink. Phone face down. Notifications off. No buzzing. No guilt. Just silence. For once, I wasn't small. I wasn't the safety net. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. It lit up instantly, 22 missed calls. Voicemails from both parents. 3 from my sister. Paragraphs of text suddenly full of affection. Sweetheart. Baby. We didn't know. We're sorry. As if that erased it. And then, the knock. I already knew. Through the peephole, my parents, dressed neat, my dad holding a bag of store-bought muffins, my mom clutching a cheap thank you card. Smiling like salespeople. I opened the door, curious how long they could fake it. Inside, they acted like guests. Chit-chat about the weather, about work. And finally, the real reason. You didn't cancel the trip, did you? My mom's voice soft, careful. I didn't even blink. It's gone, I said. I sold the whole package this morning. The warmth drained instantly. No more smiles. No more fake concern. Just silence. After a few awkward beats, they stood and left, muffins untouched. My dad muttered, "We'll talk later." My mom gave me a look, calculating, sharp. Like she was already planning the next move. I thought that was the end. But I was wrong. That night, I found out just how far they'd go. First was the renovation fund. My parents had been dreaming about converting the second floor into a full guest suite, maybe even renting it out for extra cash. They couldn't cover the expenses themselves, so I quietly stepped in. Every month, $1,200 left my account and landed in a savings pot I set up just for their project. They didn't know the exact figure, but they understood most of the money was coming from me. Paused it. Disabled future transfers. Locked the account. Next, my sister. 2 months into a job she already despised, barely keeping her bills paid. For half a year, I'd been sending her $600 monthly so she could stay afloat without drowning in interest charges. She never needed to explain, just sent that little prayer hands emoji like it was enough thanks. I opened the app, shut down the recurring payment, erased the history, and unlinked her account completely. That was 2. Then came the phone loan. She'd begged for a new iPhone because everyone at work has one, and her old model was embarrassing. I co-signed. She fell behind on payments. I picked them up, $1,700 in total. Autopay covered it without me thinking twice. Until now. I canceled it, removed my card, and left the next bill sitting in her lap. 3. After that, it was the entertainment freeloading. Hulu. Netflix. HBO Max Prime. Spotify. Accounts they'd been leeching from for years, never once offering to split costs. Just logging in like they owned them. That's family, right? I changed every password, logged out every device. On Netflix, I renamed the last profile, no more free rides. On Spotify, only my username remained. 4. Finally, the contractor. He was supposed to start drywall and paint on the upstairs hallway next week. The insulation and electrical were already finished, both prepaid, but half the balance was still pending. I called him, told him the project was off. I'd cover what was done, but nothing else. He didn't even ask why, just said okay. That made 5. And it wasn't revenge. Not at first. It was about balance. For once, I wanted things to sit at 0. No more just this one time. No more you know how much we appreciate you. No more quiet manipulation that always left me paying their bills while they acted like my involvement was some privilege. There was one last thing I needed to confirm. I opened my home security app, pulled up the footage from earlier that night. Didn't take long. At 7:12 p.m., a car idled across the street. The passenger door opened. My dad stepped out. No hesitation. Walked to my car like he was grabbing the newspaper. Squatted down, 20 seconds. Moved to the other tire. Another 20. Then he climbed back in. My mom drove them off. I didn't save the clip. Didn't need to. Instead, I powered my phone back on. It buzzed immediately. The tone had changed again. Mom, we need to talk. You're going too far. Dad, this is still your family. Don't throw it away. Sister, what's happening? Why is my payment gone? I ignored all of it. Sat in the dark. Let them sit with the feeling I'd carried for years, unseen, unheard, irrelevant. The next morning was unnervingly quiet. No notifications. No emails. No knocks. Silence stretched until it felt wrong. By noon, I found out why. A hard knock rattled the door. Not cautious, angry. I checked the peephole. My sister. Alone. I cracked the door just enough to block her. She didn't waste time. You cut off my phone payment? No hello. No pretense. Yes, I said. And everything else too. Rent. Subscriptions. Maybe ask mom and dad about the rest. Her expression twisted. You're seriously punishing me for what they did? I let the quiet linger before asking. Did you speak up when they kicked me out of the kitchen? She didn't answer. Did you stand by me once? Still nothing. She shifted tactics. Okay, maybe I didn't. But you think slashing your family's tires is normal? I blinked. You think I don't know it was them? You think I don't have it on camera? That broke her. She looked away, fumbling with her keys, whispering almost to herself. Mom said you wouldn't call the cops. That was enough. I stepped back, said I was done, and shut the door, not loud, not dramatic, just final. 5 minutes later, the messages poured in again. Mom with another chain of excuses. Dad claiming it was just frustration. Both scrambling to contain it. Then, something I didn't expect. A message from Brandon, my cousin I hadn't spoken to in 2 years. Short, hey, check Facebook. Uncle Ray posted something weird. Uncle Ray, who could barely tag someone in a photo, had gone full rant mode. A long, public post about ungrateful kids, poisoned loyalty, how generosity gets twisted. He didn't write my name, but he didn't need to. Everyone knew. And the comments? Aunts, cousins, relatives I hadn't heard from in forever. Guess there's a reason she wasn't invited. Always thought she was better than us. Flashes money, but no respect. I scrolled, watching my family tear into me in real time. But what froze me was one comment. From my mom. I think we deserve those tickets, not her. Not in a text. Not private. Right there, under Ray's post. I stared at it for a full minute. Then opened my phone, not to reply, but to post. One screenshot, the Hawaii itinerary. $11,442 total. Captioned simply. This was their gift. They told me family only. Guess that meant something else. Then I powered the phone off. Let them cannibalize each other. By the next morning, it had blown up far bigger than I thought. I hadn't tagged anyone, no names, but it didn't matter. The right people saw it, and the rest were quickly informed. By noon, 20 unread messages. By 1:42. By 2, a voicemail from Uncle Ray, suddenly less bold. He wanted to clear the air. Said he didn't know the full story. Sure. The group chat was chaos. Half the cousins siding with me, the other half scrambling to delete their comments. Screenshots flying everywhere. Tessa, the group admin, finally archived it all and sent me a private text, "It's a damn war zone." I hadn't moved from the couch. Then, around 3, another knock. My parents this time. They didn't leave when I ignored them. Just rang the bell, pounded the door, over and over, until finally an envelope slid underneath. When they left, I picked it up. Inside was a letter, messy handwriting bleeding where the pen pressed too hard. From my dad. Saying they were sorry. That it wasn't supposed to go that far. That they hadn't been thinking clearly. He ended the note with one line, "We've been waiting 35 years for that trip. Don't punish us for one mistake." I laughed out loud. One mistake? Please. I could have filled an entire scrapbook with their one mistakes. Not even half an hour later, my phone rang. It was the contractor who was supposed to finish the upstairs renovations. He said my dad had called, tried to cover the rest of the payment, but his card declined. Twice. Then came another call, this time from my sister's carrier. Her phone bill had bounced too. They warned the line would be suspended within 3 days if the balance wasn't cleared. The unraveling had already started. By evening, my cousin Jenny messaged me, the same cousin I'm sure opened the gift bag. She told me Mom had called her in tears, begging her to guilt me into just restoring the tickets. She said Mom didn't care if everything else fell apart, but that trip was her dream. I ignored it. Didn't even consider answering. The next day, though, things escalated. When I came back from the grocery store, I saw it on the side of my house. Spray paint. Not huge, but impossible to miss. Red letters, all caps, heartless. That told me everything. Manipulation hadn't worked. Shame hadn't worked. Now they'd turned to vandalism. I filed a police report, not because I expected anything to come from it, but because I wanted a record. Then I called a painter. The quote, $950 to fix, prime, and repaint the siding. I knew exactly who used to help me cover house expenses, and I knew just as clearly that none of them would ever contribute another cent again. They wanted to burn everything down? Fine. Let's see how well they survive in the cold. By week's end, the family group chat was dead. No baby pictures, no memes, no birthday reminders. Just silence, as if everyone had finally stopped pretending we were ever a family. The police left me a courtesy voicemail saying the vandalism was documented, but unless I caught them red-handed, nothing more would be done. I didn't care. The damage was cosmetic. The message was already written. The painter came the next day. While he worked, I sat on the porch, coffee in hand, scrolling through old photos, holidays, birthdays, where I was always the one behind the camera and footing the bill. Everyone smiling wide, always happiest when they were on the receiving end. Not anymore. Saturday morning, I got a voice note from my dad. He said they made a mistake, that they'd lost their temper, that I'd misunderstood what happened in the kitchen that day, that it was supposed to be a joke. Then, after a long pause, he got to the real point, we can't afford the Hawaii trip on our own. It's not like we'll ever get another chance at something like that. You know this. He tried to sound defeated, but I heard the edge, the guilt wrapped in disappointment. That afternoon, I called the travel agency. I told them I'd already resold the package. They said I could still send a cancellation notice to the original guests, just for formality. I didn't hesitate. Then I made one final move. My parents and I had a shared emergency fund. Quiet, untouched most of the time, but there is a backup. Something they assumed I'd always keep alive for when things got tight. I emptied it. All $12,000 transferred to a private account under a name they'd never recognize. That night, Mom sent one last text, if you don't help us, everything falls apart. And she was right. The upstairs project froze. The contractor walked away. My sister's phone line got cut, she switched to a burner. The family chat never came back. The cousins started whispering, wondering if maybe they'd backed the wrong side. And me? For the first time in years, I slept. The worst part of all this wasn't the slashed tires, or the spray paint, or even the endless guilt trips. It was the realization that for years, I gave, and their love only existed when they needed something. Now they needed saving. And I wasn't in the business of saving them anymore. 3 months passed in silence. Then last Thursday, a letter arrived. Handwritten, no return address, shaky like someone used their wrong hand on purpose. Inside, one line. Grandma wants to see you. She's not doing well. I hadn't seen her in nearly a year. Last I knew, she was sharp as ever, still gardening, still the only one in the family who never asked for money, never joined the drama. She just watched quietly, judged privately, and stayed out of it. So I called. She picked up on the third ring, like she'd been waiting. We talked 15 minutes. She didn't ask about Hawaii, didn't mention the group chat, didn't bring up the tires or the Facebook rants. She just asked if I'd help her with something, not money, not errands, not favors. She wanted to sell her house. Said she was done watching the chaos, moving to a retirement condo, and didn't trust anyone else to handle the details. I agreed immediately. The next day, my cousin Brandon called. "Did you actually talk to Grandma?" he asked. "Yeah," I said. "She's leaving the house to you. You know that, right?" I didn't. She'd changed her will a month earlier. Cut my mom out. Cut Uncle Ray out. Cut half the people circling like vultures waiting for her property. Brandon didn't say much else, just, "Good." Then hung up. A week later, I drove to her town. She met me at the door still wearing gardening gloves, pruning shears in her pocket. She looked tired, not frail, just finished. We spent the day going through paperwork, signing with a realtor, boxing up what mattered. She didn't cry. She didn't give speeches. She just handed me the keys and said, "Do what you want with it." That night, I slept in the guest room with the yellow curtains and the old ceiling fan that always comforted me as a kid. For the first time in years, I felt safe. Before I left the next morning, she gave me an envelope. Inside was a check for $15,000. On the memo line, "For repairs, and for your peace." I haven't cashed it. I keep it in my wallet, not for the money, but as proof. That real love doesn't come with conditions. Meanwhile, the family house still sits half-renovated, insulation exposed, wires dangling. My car has new tires, I paid for them myself. I didn't file charges, didn't retaliate. I just cut the cord. New number, new email, social media wiped clean of them. There's peace in silence, peace you only earn once you stop setting yourself on fire to keep everyone else warm. I even donated the Hawaii gift bag to a women's shelter, the photo book, the letter, the envelope tucked inside. Someone else deserved to feel wanted, included, celebrated. Now, when people ask why I don't go home for the holidays, I just smile. I've already been, and I never want to go back. Because family isn't just blood. Family is who shows up, who listens when you say that hurt, and who stops once they know it does. And when they don't? You stop walking back into the fire just because it used to be the only warmth you knew. You build your own. And when people ask what happened, I tell them the truth. I gave them everything. And the moment I stopped, they showed me exactly who they were. So I left. And this time, I stayed gone.